Hello and welcome to Smosh Reads Reddit Stories. I'm Shane, and today's theme is travel. That's why we all have silly hats on, because we're gonna travel.
Who has a silly hat on? Not me.
I'm joined by one person who's wearing a silly hat and one person who's wearing a hat that they wore today by their own choice.
It's me.
Amanda and Ian are joining me.
Ahoy.
Hola.
I feel so bad for everyone that's listening to this on a podcast and doesn't get to see these ridiculous hats we're wearing.
Can I be honest? You look like you are like a modern Titanic captain.
Thank you.
Do you know what I mean? Like you were on the Titanic and you were the one who went in the boat when they said women and children only.
Yeah.
You went in there and went.
You also.
And they said, you're not a woman. I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
You also,
great.
yeah, I mean, the hat's also, well, no, the rest of the outfit isn't, but the hat's giving like, oh, it's 2 a.m. on the party bus in Vegas.
Yeah. And you're
Like you suddenly like, where did I get this hat?
You like went to a Halloween party with your girlfriend who's really into Halloween,
And
but
I'm like,
you were like, I'm Popeye.
All right, I'm Popeye.
You can see me.
What?
And I'm just a woman in Barbados.
Yes, we love that.
Drinking a frozen cocktail, and it's my 7th one.
Mm-hmm.
But God, am I trying to lose weight? You know what I'm saying?
I say it's giving more Louisville, Kentucky to me.
Oh, Derby?
You're watching the Kentucky Derby.
Oh my
Back in
God.
like the 1800s or
I'm
something.
watching the Kentucky Derby.
I think they still
And
wear
I'm
big
mad at all my
hats.
friends.
Do they still
right
wear
now.
big hats?
I think so. It's like
Wow.
a customary thing. They're like,
I don't see people wearing big hats that often,
and they should.
and we should.
My sisters wear big hats. They
Whoa.
love it. Whoa! I'm driving to our destination.
Improv.
Ah!
All right, well, let's get into these travel stories.
Oh, we're taking the hats off?
I'm taking my hat
No.
off.
Actually, Captain of Titanic, you can keep it on.
You can
What if
keep
I just take it off and like, I'm bald?
That would be really funny.
That would honestly be fun.
That is not the first time that has happened on
Rocket.
Smosh. Keith revealed that
Oh
he had
my
shaved his head for a Summer
That
Games.
was the
It was an incredible reveal.
That was the best moment.
It's one of
ever.
the best moments in Smosh history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just so you know.
okay.
Anyways, travel.
Travel.
Travel is very fun, but it can come with a lot of problems, a
Yeah,
lot of
just like
issues,
the
a lot of
conversation.
drama. I would say it's weddings and international trips that you see
And-
the most interpersonal drama happen.
You can't travel with everybody. They
Ooh.
may be your greatest friends and you guys have like a wine night.
Yeah.
But you get on a trip and sometimes it doesn't work.
I think it's
Sometimes
a great
it does.
It's a great test for any type of relationship, right?
Yeah.
I think that's like a worthwhile like friendship or relationship test, right?
I have
It's
a
like
question. Do you have to do they have to be good travelers in order to be friends with them?
I just think that traveling with someone really shows like, is your dynamic like healthy? Like, is there mutual respect?
Yeah,
is there
I-
mutual
yeah.
boundaries?
I feel like with relationships, you shouldn't make it official until you go on a vacation together.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of agree, but then I also don't because I feel like there are friends that are great and you just might not ever be able to
Oh
travel
yeah,
I
with
think
them.
with friends,
is,
I think
friends
with-
is fine, but
I-
relationship.
Oh, relationship. Oh, yeah.
I see what you're saying, because you can draw that boundary and just be like, I'm not traveling
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
But a partner?
But
Definitely.
it
gotta be
really
able to
does
travel.
highlight a lot of things of like, are we cohesive?
Oh, yeah.
And I think
It's-
you could be as simple as a road trip, right? It doesn't have to be an international trip.
That's true. Anything that's like
Just-
brings you out of your comfort zone,
For multiple days.
puts you in a pressure cooker.
And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't judge it on the first trip unless
Yeah.
it's glaring.
Our first story comes from the subreddit 2 Hot Takes. Shout out to Morgan, as always.
Shout out,
Love you, Morgan.
Morgs.
Truly one of the that subreddit's always popping off.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. This comes from April of this year, 2026. Am I overreacting for giving an Uber driver a bad rating for playing BDSM music on full blast?
Oh,
BDSM music.
BDSM music? Is it just like whips and
Hey,
like chains?
you did a song that was BDSM.
Yeah, what if it's just submissive and
Okay,
breathable?
so if it's submissive and breedable, then that's a green flag.
Yeah.
Okay. OP writes, I, a 24-year-old woman, and my girlfriend, a 23-year-old woman, recently took a trip to Arizona to visit friends.
Fun.
Our flight landed around 1 a.m., and the place we were staying at was around a 30-minute drive from the airport. Within the first minute of this Uber ride, the seatbelt sign went off, and the driver yelled at the car saying, "F*** piece of shit." This was weird, but we thought it was funny and laughed it off. A couple minutes later, he said, "F*** crackheads." I don't know what that was in reference to.
To the seatbelt sign?
It was pretty quiet in the car, and he asked if we wanted to listen to music, and we said yes. And then he asked what we wanted to listen to, and we said anything. Big mistake.
Yeah, huge.
He's like, anything?
Anything? I love when she take control. She beat my
Have you heard of
meat
Smosh?
wagon.
He pressed play on whatever he already had pulled up, and immediately we were hiding our laughter because it was so far from what we expected. The song was called Primal Vow by Playful Devotion. Also, an important note, he had some sort of hookup in his trunk that made the bass insanely loud, it was buzzing my rib cage.
Oh yeah, he's got the sub in the trunk.
Yeah.
Dude, that is like so
high school.
That is so 2005.
Yeah.
But this is Phoenix we're talking about.
This is somewhere in Arizona, but it's very Arizona.
Yeah.
From my memories of growing up there. After the first song ended, he started hitting skip to, I guess, pick a song, but they were all by Playful Devotion, and they all had names like Boy, Brat Tamer, Crawl to Daddy, Do As Daddy Says,
No.
Devour You Whole, You Get It. As two young women in someone else's car in a different state at night, we started to get pretty freaked out.
Yeah.
He then asked us if we liked the bass, and out of fear, we kind of just said, oh yeah, it's cool.
No.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. It's shaking my ribs.
And then he cranks the volume all the way. Like my ribs were vibrating before, and now I'm feeling a panic attack coming on from just how weird it made my body feel, and the fact that it was playing a song called Raw by Playful Devotion. And look up those lyrics and tell me if you'd feel safe. Also, we had just gone through TSA, so we obviously had nothing to fight back with. Anyways, he did drop us off at the location, and after us waiting outside the gate for 3 minutes out of fear of him following us in, he left. The situation is a bit funny now because of how insane it was, but I'm having a hard time figuring out if that's just a weird man who is super unaware of how this is coming across, or if it was actually a bit of a dangerous situation and if I should report it and give him a bad Uber rating. I know the rating is very important, so I don't want to do it if I'm overreacting. Let me know what you think. Thanks.
Oh.
Huh. Well,
So let's
Okay.
build all the context here.
Sure.
It's 1 a.m.
It's 1 a.m.
It's 1 a.m. It's the middle of the night. They're driving for over 30 minutes. They're two women that are, in this car. I understand why in the moment they're like, yeah, it's cool, because it's like you're in this person's car. You don't want to start a conflict. You're scared.
You want to make everything be like, we're chill,
Yeah.
we're chilling,
Yeah.
we're not
We're
freaking
cool.
out, we're all good. He asked what you guys want to listen to. They said anything. He played
You're
some
thinking
really
anything like
intense, sexy music.
pushed it to the limit. I'm of the mind of like, yeah, I don't think she's overreacting at all. Like that's
Personally,
uncomfortable.
Yeah, personally, if that was me, I would be definitely a little bit freaked out just because I'm not in a place that I know very well. The TSA thing was like, oh yeah, they have nothing to fight back with. And
Well, even if you have something to fight back with, you're in a car going full speed.
Yeah.
You're kind of just like, all right, man, I'm at your mercy.
And also, like, what were they supposed to do? Yeah, we don't like the bass, and this is unacceptable. Like, that could have been, like, we're taught to be like, don't really rock the boat yet. Do you know what's going
Yeah,
on?
and I'm sure there's probably comments that are like, oh, you could have just been like, hey, can you turn it down a little bit or
Yeah,
something.
but when you're
like,
in it, you're not saying any of that.
But I think like what this person was also implying before the music came on, that he was making these comments.
He was already
that-
kind of
that
saying
were
some
kind of
intense
like,
stuff.
It would put me on edge a little bit, being like, piece of shit. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when you have an Uber that's like, when you have an Uber driver that's like acting that way,
Yeah.
you don't really want to like stir them up anymore.
I
You're
get-
like,
I
I'll
get
go-
that too.
I'll do whatever you want to do, bro.
You just
Like,
sit there with your friend and you go, bass is fine.
I would
Yeah.
make, I mean, like, this is maybe like, obviously the threat for me being a man is maybe less, but I mean, maybe I would ask them to turn the music down a little bit.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I too would just be in for the ride, I guess.
I've been at the
Yeah.
mercy of some Uber rides where like either they're driving insanely and you're just kind of
Yeah.
like, what do you do? Like, hey
Yeah.
man, stop doing that. But then, you just get some Uber drivers that it's like, all right, like, I used to have really bad luck where 5 minutes in, I would sit in, I'm trying not to make conversation because I'm like, I have social anxiety already. So I'm like trying to just like look out the window. And they will just start talking to me. And I'm like, the way that within 5 minutes, they're saying the most heinous, horrible shit to me. And I'm just like, yeah, for sure. Okay. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. And you kind of have no choice but to be like, for sure, man. Like, I'm not going to start an argument with you while I'm in the backseat of your car going 70 on the 405. Like, I am scared.
And this one's really tricky because they're not overreacting. I understand wanting to be like, hey, just a heads up, this guy's doing this. And then also at the same time, you know, they're in there being like, yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Which is really tough because in that moment, that's what you're gonna say.
Yeah. You're also after
that's
a flight.
survival.
You're after a flight at 1 a.m.,
like,
so you're
I just wanna
probably
get
beaten
there.
up and tired. And you're like, okay, well, this guy also knows where we're at.
So I don't really know.
But this
what
guy
they
also
should do.
needs to like not do that.
It's kind of weird that he's playing BDSM music.
Yes.
And I don't know and also I don't know the lyrics to this, so I think hearing the music is probably gonna really shift it to.
Yeah.
My guess is maybe we've encountered, you know, a Phoenix Gooner Uber driver, you know.
Yeah, Phoenix has changed since I left.
Honestly,
I'm not
I will
surprised.
say
I'm not surprised.
she maybe should say something just so he can be aware that, like, hey, bro, 1 a.m., 2 ladies in there. A, turn down the bass, and B, don't play BDSM music.
Yeah,
like
dude.
maybe he should just get it so he could be aware.
There should be like It's like, come on, man. Like you have to know.
Playful devotion.
I'm curious what the guy's Uber rating is already, but it's like I don't.
Right.
I want to give. I give my Ubers 5 stars. It takes a lot, right? Because I'm like, I understand. Like you're trying to make ends meet. You're doing your job. It's a lot of work. It's probably sucks. Like you're probably exhausted throughout the day. But also, like, you gotta.
Yeah.
I feel like the only times I give bad ratings is if I think they're legitimately driving unsafe.
Totally.
And then I'm like, okay, well, the way I see it is like, you know, if myself and other people give them bad ratings, they get kicked off the app and they don't kill somebody.
Right.
Right.
You know? So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Verdict is there's no official verdict, but the majority is not overreacting.
Sure. Yeah.
Comments. The saddest thing is that the band is AI.
Of course it is. Of course. Because when you started naming the titles, a little part of me was like, is this an AI?
I don't think I've ever heard.
Crawl the Daddy is AI?
I've never heard an AI. Horny robots wrote this?
Well, because they're just like, it's somebody just entering prompts
of
like
course.
in any genre. I've sat in an Uber where they listened the whole time. I was looking at like the album cover and I was like, this is AI. And it was all AI and the guy just kept listening to it. I was like, really, dude? Like, we're just gonna listen to this AI slob?
Wait, what?
And
That's
everything,
so
every
funny.
like picture was this like old man with tears
Oh god.
on his eyes. And it was like this kind of like grungy crooner type music.
Did you tell him?
No, I just like sat there and was like, I hate this. But then I like went, I had to look further and it was just every photo was this like old man crying with like roses and everything was like, I miss my daughter. I still miss her.
Oh, so it was like country?
No, it was like lunar rock. Like,
Isn't it crazy to think like some of these people who like they're all in on AI, they're living in the Matrix, but like it's a weird bizarro Matrix
yeah.
with like
Or are we
crooner,
living in the
grungy
Matrix?
crooner
But
music.
I don't think they even know it's
Like,
AI.
That's what I mean. Isn't that
Yeah.
terrifying that
Yeah.
they're listening to stuff and they don't realize like everything that is around them is made up?
Or worse, they don't care.
So AI music is sounding legit.
I'm
Is
sure
what-
it's because it's all it's doing is copying, right? It can only take what is made and
Yeah.
then
Playful Devotion
because-
now. What a cool name.
And you can generate that stuff so quick on
Yeah.
certain apps. So you can create an album in like a day. So if you're one of these like, oh, I'm an AI producer, you could literally make 50 albums in probably like a week
and
and
it's-
just put it all out on Spotify.
This guy spent so much money on his bass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To just play AI.
Someone else said, I personally don't think you're overreacting. There is a certain expectation in environments like that. Uber driving is a way for him to make money. He should have a certain amount of professionalism and decorum. Just as he shouldn't be keeping his car a hoarder rat's nest. He shouldn't be playing such inappropriate music at such an inappropriate volume.
How do you know he has a horse?
Yeah,
think
they're
it's
just saying
drawing
like you need to keep it clean and like
comparison.
you're running a business.
Damn.
Be a little profesh.
This person went in on him.
I get that. Someone
wasn't
said,
even there.
Someone said, oh my God, I didn't even hit play and the cover for that song is already wild. I'm listening to it while I'm typing and this is the craziest thing to play when someone says anything. You'd think he'd go for something safe. All right, so we have the lyrics, and
Let's
I
go.
think this
Oh,
is...
Raw?
Do we have the album cover too?
No, we do not have the album cover. We just have... This is the chorus.
We're going to have to bleep all of this out.
Ooh, the
aren't we?
chorus.
I think it's mostly going to be bleeped.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to feel really uncomfortable hearing Shane read this.
Oh, I'm so ready.
Oh, Amanda's heard me say way worse things.
yeah.
Oh, that's
this
true.
Is
Well,
like,
this is going to be...
child's
This is
play.
maybe the worst thing I'm ever going to have said
Okay.
on this show.
All right, cool.
But,
Cool.
yeah. So the chorus goes, me raw, take it hard, break the bed, leaving scars,
Oh.
grip my ride me rough,
Whoa.
scream my name, the stars.
The stars.
Alpha Centauri!
I like how there's
Guy
no...
who just watched Project Hail Mary. Okay, scream my name, the stars, clenching, door wide open. Give me all that nasty art. I'm gonna
Art?
ruin you perfect, baby.
Ooh.
Tear your good girl apart.
Uh,
All right.
um,
No, I fear, yeah, this guy should not be driving an Uber.
no,
If he's
that's
blasting
insane.
that, this guy,
That
no.
last line just ripped me up. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
So he heard that song and he's like, I'm gonna keep playing more from this artist.
Yeah.
As a good girl, like, man, that tore me up. That was awful.
Okay.
This guy should absolutely
Jail.
be reported.
Jail.
Humans create
What?
AI and they're like, how do we make it the most f***ed up thing ever?
And we want to say that we don't support AI.
No,
We're
AI.
real artists.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's,
there's no like,
There's no progression
Yeah.
in those lyrics. It's just like
it's
just
all
like
just hard all
Yeah.
at once.
it's written by something without a soul. So yeah,
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
who would want to break their bed? Those are really expensive.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
In this economy.
How are you going to sleep at night?
Anyways, yeah, I
Okay.
think if we haven't made our stance clear, AI sucks.
Like what?
a huge one.
At 1 a.m.? Come on, buddy.
Blast in the bass.
With
AI.
a bass?
AI BDSM music at 1 a.m. in an Uber.
AI BDSM music at 1 a.m. and it's that horrible.
I think-
Jesus.
Yeah, I think he should go to jail now.
She
I'm
should
thinking-
absolutely report him. And be like, from the good girl.
Yeah. Report him to the UN. This is a
These are two
To the
good girls.
UN.
yeah. This is a crime against humanity.
Wow,
I think.
Phoenix, Arizona, or Arizona.
I can't be too surprised that dudes in Arizona love AI.
Why?
Yeah.
Truly, why though?
don't know.
Is there, because there's like no good music happening? Like what?
No.
I don't know, man. Every day I get online and I see some other AI bullshit.
Also, like we just saying, don't go find this music and play it. Don't give
Yeah,
him play.
the best thing you can do is simply not give it any attention.
Yeah.
But you can talk shit about it. I mean,
Yeah.
talk shit about AI, but don't
Yeah.
Don't
look
give it
at
any
Avert
attention.
your eyes and ears. All right. Our next story comes from Am I the Asshole? This was posted in September of 2022. Am I the asshole for turning around in my car when I saw that my boyfriend brought his friends with him to go on a trip with us? Oh, so
Okay.
unannounced, like brought
Yeah.
it, like they had a trip planned and he brought his friends without telling her.
Cool. He's like, I got the boys.
I do not get it.
I, a 30-year-old woman, am dating my boyfriend, Smith, who's 39, for 8+ months. We had been planning to go on a road trip, but it couldn't happen because he kept insisting that we let his two friends tag along. He brought it up again and promised that he won't ask me to let him bring his friends with him since 1, I'm the one paying for the expenses, 2, it's my car, 3, I always wanted us to go alone for once without having his friends tag along, and 4, I don't want to pay for his friends. That's kind of going back to 1, but you know, I think it's fair to double down on it.
We get it.
Before we get further in the story, do you think it's boys?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
He wants to go for a ride with the boys.
With the boys.
You know what I'm saying?
He's like, I can't go anywhere without my boys.
That was one of my thoughts.
And he goes, sorry.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Ian, I'm over here. You did that to my shoe.
Apologize to her shoe.
Sorry.
Sorry, shoe.
All right. We agreed that I'd come pick him up in the morning so we could go. I came in my car and entered his neighborhood. However, when I saw him standing outside with his bag, his two friends were also standing there with their bags. I was shocked and furious. I didn't pull over. I just turned around and kept driving and went
That's so
back.
awesome.
I love this.
I think it would have been a little bit
Funny.
better if it was like she just rolled down and was like, F you.
Yeah.
No,
Like-
I think the silent just turning
Yeah.
around and just
I
leaving.
love this.
You think his boy's like, is she like getting gas or something?
She's lost.
No. She's definitely coming back. She probably
She's
just like forgot
lost.
something at home.
I saw him running after me in the rearview mirror.
Babe, wait! Babe, wait!
I
He
have an
then stopped.
explanation.
He then stopped and started calling me. I did not respond until I got home. He lashed out on me on the phone, asking why the hell I turned around and left. I told him why and how I didn't appreciate how he basically tried to force me to take his friends with us after I said no already. He called me awful and said that I ruined the entire thing for us and acted immaturely and spitefully. He said I could have just accepted how it is, but I told him that I would never accept being put in a situation where I'm expected to just suck it up. He hung up after yelling at me for a few minutes.
Whoa.
I called back but got no response. He texted about how I embarrassed him in front of his friends and is refusing to speak to me until after I apologize. Am I the asshole for turning around in my car and going home? Did I make the right call?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
You
made the
did. You
call.
crushed it, girl. I love it. Like, what? I'm
That's
so
so-
confused.
Yeah.
What she said she asked that she wanted just a trip with just them. And so he heard that, and now he's saying that she ruined everything.
Yes, because she didn't accept how it is. She's like, you should just accept how it is.
No, that's-
like, hey, I'm completely breaking your boundaries.
Yep.
But you need to just accept that.
No, she did the right thing.
I think that's like it's not even a red flag. If you tell someone like no to something and they just try to sneak it or they keep pushing,
Yeah.
that's to me like you shouldn't be in a relationship with that person.
There's some like crazy breakdown in communication in this relationship.
I
where
just don't
she's
think
like,
he listens
I
at
feel
all.
like this
Yeah.
happens a lot with Reddit, where it's just like you've said the thing and yet they keep doing it. And a lot of it is like they want to bring their friends on a trip or on a date.
There's a lot of that.
Why?
It's just a lot of disrespect for her.
he
It's
probably
like,
just doesn't
well,
like her.
Yeah.
That's honestly
So
what
she's
I'm
paying.
thinking.
She's paying for all of this. So he's like, this is a way for me to get a trip with my boys.
Well, I'm
It's
thinking that he
insane.
For free.
doesn't actually want to
sounds
be
like
he
alone
doesn't-
with her.
He sounds like a bum.
yeah, he doesn't sound like he likes her. The amount of stories we read on Reddit
Yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
one of them, but it is oftentimes when we're reading these stories, it's like the boyfriend or the husband, it's just like, you just don't like her.
You just
Yeah.
don't like her.
I think
Why
straight
be
up.
with her? And why? What was he gonna say when he caught up to her car? That's what I want to know.
I
like,
don't
roll
know.
it down, roll it down.
I don't know.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey!
so my friends.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hey, my friends want to come.
Come on, my friends are, hey, hey,
My foot, Amy, my foot. Hey,
He's dangling like dragging.
hey. She finally parks. He's like, hey,
Hey.
hey.
I think like it's crazy to me that like that he can't like comprehend going on a trip with just her, which is like what makes me be like, oh, so you just don't enjoy
Yeah.
like being around. This is what we're talking about. Like you like this is the great test for a relationship. You go on a trip
Yep.
together
Yep.
with no one else,
Yep.
and you just see if you can work it
Yeah.
out. Clearly, he's not even willing to give it a
Doesn't
shot.
want to.
Also, what is the deal with the friends? Here's
don't
what I
know.
think. They're not getting the full story. But like, why would you want to sit there and be like, I can't wait to go on a trip with you?
She's
and
gonna
your-"
be the fourth like wheel. Like it's
Yeah.
two of his friends. They're going on their
Yeah,
trip,
yeah, yeah.
and they're paying for it all.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
it's-
get it.
She's just being taken advantage of.
I just
fully.
don't get it.
Well, if the boys don't go, then who's going to give him a handy? You know?
Jesus.
Jesus.
If you want to.
I just think like there's a lot of guys that like just they're not friends with women. They can't comprehend that. So like this is just like
That is such a good point.
he's not like they're not friends with
and
any
I do.
woman.
I don't think that is like you instinctually know that. I don't think you automatically know how to be friends with women. I think it's like, I don't know if that's like learned or you naturally have that, but I don't think all men, I don't know.
That's
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not like, I guess we're not like usually socialized like in school.
Which is
I feel
such a
like I feel like
bummer.
in school
So
it's always
weird.
like boys and girls like
It-
play
yeah,
separately.
there are values that are unfortunately taught. Like it's not like I don't think it's like an inherent thing, but I think it's values that are taught. Like societally,
Yeah.
at least like
Yeah.
American society teaches.
So
a
maybe
lot of
it is
this.
instinctual, but then it's like taught out of them.
I don't know. Like I just think a lot of guys are taught like to just not. They don't respect women on like a deep level to like truly be like. Because I think to really be
So
close, genuine
weird.
friends, it's like a mutual respect.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if we're reading too much into it. Like either way, she made the right choice.
Probably.
Like ditch this guy.
I would love to know how fast she was going, but that's probably not in there. Is it in there?
If he was chasing after her, residential, yeah. Where's the speed?
She's going 30.
Verdict is not the asshole. Comments. He's 39.
Yeah, that's what's
Yes.
that's what's blowing my mind because I was like, when you said 39, like I looked at him and I was like,
I'm also
Motherfucker's
not
39.
surprised though by it because it's like at what like why what would change this guy? Like like if you set in your ways
I don't know,
of that
middle age.
no,
I-
but there are 39-year-olds who are just like, it. Like I feel like I sit here and be like, come on, 39, and then I'm like, I don't know.
Some people-
It's a different
Some
world
people
right
decide
now.
that they're
Yeah.
right. Some people decide that like, oh, how I think is right, and so it's like, great, you're never gonna change.
That's what it is. He's not
Solid,
actually
dude.
listening to her boundaries.
He's 39 and wants his girlfriend to pay for it and chauffeur his friends and lie to get you to do it, then accuse you of acting immaturely. That sound you hear is a giant red flag flapping in the wind. Run fast, run far, my friend, not the asshole.
No, straight up.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna get better for him, I fear.
No.
Like I feel like
Oh, no, but-
I feel like if he's behaving this way at 39, it's just gonna
Yeah.
it's never gonna change.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone said, please, please, please tell me that this is now an ex-boyfriend, not the asshole, and I'm clapping for what you did. OP said, I stopped calling him and am reconsidering the relationship at the moment.
Yeah.
I hope
What can you do?
do not ever talk to that guy again.
Yeah, you can't move past that.
Yeah, I don't think you move past that shit.
Because that's like a major boundary, a huge red flag. How are you ever going to do anything together?
yeah.
Travel together, move in together, make
That
big
level of
decisions together.
disrespect, man, don't tolerate that.
I couldn't imagine just showing up to pick somebody up on a trip and they just decided to bring extra people.
to try to sneak
That's insane.
to like I said earlier, to
And
lay
he
down a
knows what he
boundary,
was
to lay down,
doing.
to agree,
Yeah.
and then sneak it. It's to him, he's going, I can take advantage of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I'll take advantage of you, and I'll do this, and you might be mad at me, but I'll be like, it's fine, and then I'll be able to. I know I can do it again, and I
Yeah.
can keep doing it, and I can keep pushing further
and
and
he knows
further.
exactly what I think that's the worst part. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
When he does that, because he knows, like I think it seems pretty clear that she made it clear to him, like, I don't want your friends on this trip. Okay, sure, babe. Yeah. We're good.
But
We're
he
good.
didn't hear her. I mean, it's one thing to bring someone to dinner and be like, yeah, they were with me. It's like, but still, I don't know if you're close with your partner, they would at least be like, hey, Bubba's coming.
You're on the same page.
Yeah.
You're on the same
Yeah.
page. Like,
Yeah.
if there's gonna be something that's like not communicated, it's because you already know each other so well that you know it's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
But that's not the case here. Last comment, someone said, not the asshole. Recommend you keep this guy in the rearview mirror.
Nice.
Nice.
God,
Sick.
I love it. I love Redditors sometimes. Man,
Sometimes they
crush
really
it.
crush. You know, that guy,
Yeah.
that person, they wrote it in, they're like, all right, and they shut their laptop.
And then
they got
they
into
play-
bed. They got into bed. Their partner was like, how was Reddit? And they go, I was on fire
I was on
tonight."
fire. Shall we listen to Playful Devotion?
Shall we
Break
put something
the bed?
on?
Grab my penis and boop, 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 boop. Break my bed with your butt. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, with your bud.
I don't know.
Break your bed with your bud.
Yeah, you guys.
That's something else.
That's just called jumping on the bed.
Yeah. Yay.
That's called right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Our next story comes from Am I the Asshole? It was posted in April of 2026, this year.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for charging my friend $800 after she left me 4 hours from home?
What?
Becky, who's 31-year-old woman, and I, a 31-year-old woman, have been best friends for 20 years. In high school, we became close with Ryan and Daniel, and the four of us did everything together. Becky has always been fixated on Ryan. If he liked a girl, she would tear her apart or make passive-aggressive comments until it was uncomfortable. When he had girlfriends, she would openly criticize them and act like they weren't good enough for him. Eventually, she started doing the same thing to me. She would make comments to downplay my friendship with Ryan or subtly compare us, like she needed to prove she mattered more. It felt competitive for no reason, but I ignored it for years. Fast forward to Ryan's wedding last month. Becky and I drove together and shared a hotel. The passive-aggressive comments started again. She said I would not even be at the wedding if it was not for her, even saying things like that in front of other people. Later, in the hotel, she complained that Ryan did not spend enough time with her. She actually said, "Sorry to you and Daniel, but he should at least want to spend time with me." After years of this, I snapped and said, "What a weird thing to say out loud."
Yes.
And then I just She immediately escalated and said, "Oh, what? You really think that Ryan and I aren't better friends?" And brought up that he asked her to help design the engagement ring. I said, "I don't care who's closer.
Exactly.
But it's weird that you care this much. It's not our fault you're in love with him."
See, but this is
She
but
followed
this
up
is,
the punch with a,
But like this
She
is
hit her
what like
twice.
a friend of 20 years, you should be able to be like straight up with.
Yeah,
them.
Absolutely.
and
20 years, you should be able to
not
level.
around the wedding. You should
But this
say
is
it earlier.
bitter. This is bitter.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
man.
is resentment built.
You're, God, like you're friends of the groom or bride. It's like your job is to not only not cause drama, your job is to like quell the drama
yeah.
for
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
friend. Jeez.
I wonder if she's like upset that she wasn't like invited to the bachelor party or something. You know?
I don't know.
I think she's upset that
she's
she's
like-
not marrying Ryan.
Yeah,
No,
that's what this story is.
And
making.
she only has one person to take it out on, this friend.
Yeah. She stormed out, and instead of coming back, she drove off and left me stranded 4 hours away with no way to get back. The next morning, I couldn't rent a car because I only had a debit card, so my only option was a same-day flight back to where I live across the country, which cost $800. I sent her an angry text and a Venmo request. She hasn't responded, and we haven't spoken in a month. I'll admit saying she's in love with him was harsh, and the text I sent after was not my best moment. We're supposed to talk tomorrow. Am I the asshole?
Look, okay. So I mean she was right on the money with like that she's still in love with him. And like I'm sure that was like the final straw for her. I don't think she's gonna get that money though.
No.
I don't think there's a shot she's gonna get that
But
money.
she's asking, am I the asshole for requesting it? Right? For requesting it, it's like, hey, like you left, because we did, if you had plans to drive back together
Yeah.
and they just ditched you, that it is like, it's, I get that it's probably more of a symbolic request at this stage of like, hey, you. Like,
Yeah.
you know what you did to me, and you can't just get away with this without acknowledging, like, you betrayed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a
No,
friend,
she
like-
did a really messed up thing. I mean, like, I think maybe I would ask for like half.
I would say not the asshole, but like, hey, she didn't think you were gonna get an $800 ticket. It is a little fucked up that she left her in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But why are you traveling around with only a debit card? Girl.
I'm looking at the emotional, like, friendship side of this, right? Like,
Yeah.
and there is also, I'm a little confused. It's 4 hours away, but she took a flight across the country.
Yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah, I don't understand. 4 hours away from what?
4 hours away. Yeah,
hours
there
away
must
by
be there must be
plane?
some travel situation.
Is there a
Um,
giant mountain between?
I just think she is shitty. This friend is so shitty for leaving her stranded. We've read a lot of
that
stories where,
sucks.
like,
Yeah.
if you travel together somewhere, like, you have that responsibility.
Absolutely.
It's not like
Agreed.
OP, like, attacked her. It's not like OP
No.
did something horrible. They had a
No.
fight. They,
Yeah.
like,
She said something
said,
that was
they
painful,
said some painful
out of
things.
resentment.
And it could have even been out of line. It's still like, hey, as long as you're not, you know, I don't know, saying something absolutely awful and out of line,
Yeah.
like
But you don't leave
horribly.
someone
You don't leave someone
stranded.
stranded.
No,
Like friends
no.
should be able to have these types of moments
Yeah.
and like come back together.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know. This is a little shitty. Maybe I'm just throwing this out there.
Okay.
would the friend be that upset if what she said wasn't true?
Right.
No, that's what I'm saying.
She's
was
upset
right on the money.
it's like if you said, "Hey, you're in love with them," and it's not true at all, you'd be like, "No, that's not true." I'm not bothered by like.
She is
I can
clearly
imagine.
It's like
in
you
love.
hit it. You hit the
Yes.
target.
And she didn't want to face it, so that's why she couldn't even be in the same car with her. But she left
She
her
didn't even.
alone.
She didn't
Did she
even
also-
stay for the wedding.
I was gonna say she left before the wedding.
She left
right?
before the wedding.
Yeah.
So
she
this-
just bounced.
Yeah.
She is upset. She's not really being loyal to any of her friends.
No.
Like
I think this was probably going to the wedding was probably really difficult for her, and then
Yeah.
her friend saying, you know, you're in love with that guy was like the final straw because it was true.
Unfortunately, what she needed, not OP, but the other friend, what she needed was a friend in that moment, because that does suck to be in love with someone forever. They don't want you, but they want to be friends with you. You're going to their wedding. It must be really hard. But she didn't handle it well. She put all of her pain on her friend.
yeah, she was taking it out on all the wrong ways for
Yeah.
years, and it sounds like they never really leveled with each other for years. Based on this, she's like talking about like this is how this friend's been acting for so long. It's like,
Years
and you
you've
never
been
talked.
friends,
You never
yeah.
talked like, because if this friend came to her and was like, dude, I have feelings for Ryan. It's really painful to be his friend. It's like, then you get to talk.
Right.
And then if you have that conversation, then by the time you get here and she's being shitty, it's like, hey, I understand what you're feeling.
Yeah.
You cannot take it out on me, whatever.
Right.
Then you get to be on the same page and deal with that in a
Right.
more constructive way and help her move past it. It's like,
Right.
you got to let go of that at a certain point.
Right.
I think that's such a relatable,
Yeah.
it's such a relatable thing to have feelings for someone that it's not returned.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It sucks, but then
And if you're friends, you should be able to talk about it.
absolutely. Especially if it's a friend that's your mutual friends. Like, this isn't the person you're in love with. Like,
I think that's hard. I think that's hard,
It
especially
is very
in a
hard.
female relationship. Like, it gets really messy and tricky when a friend is involved that's a guy. And like, you can be friends with someone for 20 years, but you might not say the thing that you really want to say because you don't know how they're going to react.
I know, but
I agree.
man.
I agree. I think you should be able to say things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like, this is how those things then end friendships. So like,
Well, this friendship
got
it's
ended
pretty much
by
ended.
not handling it. It's like it sucks. This sucks, but
The $800 does suck.
Yeah, but
this
was that
her-
really
she-
the only option for the flight?
That's what OP's
$800 ticket.
That's what OP is saying.
But
I
she only
get
had
it,
a
but
debit card.
she was because her friend abandoned her. So she's
Yeah.
like, man, I now lost $800 because you bounced.
Yeah.
Without even telling me, like, hey, I'm gonna bounce. Like, just left.
No, that's.
How could you just leave someone and not even go back?
I think because she was.
I couldn't.
That hurt.
She's that hurt.
She was
Wow.
red.
Yeah.
Like,
But like at some point, you'd hope I would, no matter how upset I got about a situation, I'd be like, I can't just leave this person. Like,
Yeah.
I got to figure out some
No,
way to
that's
like,
an
hey, like, I do have to make it up to you in some way or another.
Yeah.
The verdict is not the asshole. Comments, was this 4 hours away or across the country?
Yeah.
OP said, we met in our hometown. I flew in from out of town, which is 4 hours away from where the wedding was, but I live across the country. I am in the US.
Oh, so she would have already had to. She already had a ticket to fly from the hometown.
From the
back
hometown,
home.
but because there was probably no flights from where she was to where her flight
So she had to
Already
cancel a
was.
flight and then take
Probably.
another
probably had
flight.
to book it. So
Probably,
she
yeah.
just left her in a really shitty situation where her
Yeah.
travel was messed up.
Okay,
Okay,
that makes more sense.
Someone said, not the asshole. Ditching your friend without a way home is a safety issue.
Yeah.
You had every right to be upset,
Yeah.
especially when that came with a $800 plane ticket. I wouldn't say she's a friend anymore.
Right.
Lastly, someone said, unfortunately, you will never get money from her, and I doubt you would win in a small claims court. Best to move on and go no contact with her, not the asshole.
I kind of agree
That's
with
fair.
that advice.
That's
It's
fair.
tough. $800 is painful.
Yeah.
Also, like I don't know if I'd be able to like stay friends with somebody that was that unreasonable.
I would not be able to. That would be a like, if you abandon me in a way where I then have to spend $800, figure out not only the $800, but just figuring out travel, right?
Yeah.
Just a nightmare. Unless they really come and go, I was so out of line. I'm so sorry. I'm going to pay you back financially in some way or another.
Yeah.
And also, like, I need to like unload, like, and figure this
Yeah.
out. It requires them to become a new person.
Yeah.
Or else it's like, just gonna get worse.
I mean, at the end of the day, $800 is nothing to how painful it's going to be to end a 20-year friendship.
Absolutely, I do agree with
That's
that.
going to be.
I feel they were like hometown friends, honestly. Like, I don't even think they were that close.
I don't think so.
So sorry.
They went to the wedding.
They were at the wedding because the friend was complaining that the groom did not spend enough time with her.
Got you.
And then
Before
OP
the wedding?
during
Or
the
during the wedding,
during
okay.
his wedding,
Bro,
to his bride,
the
she's upset
Lulu,
that he's not spending
you
time
are
with
the
her.
Lulu girl.
Yeah.
No. And then OP goes, "You're just mad because you're in love with like
Yeah.
fair."
Fair.
But I also understand ending like I'm taking the like view of like these are close friends. Like
Me too.
20 years, and even if it's like kind of back and forth, like 20 years, like there's a kind of thing where like even if it's a friend you don't see as often, it's like, man, you're such a big part of my life.
But it's deep rooted.
It's deep rooted. That's tough to jump to no contact.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
But I also understand the like where she's headed, where Becky is headed. It doesn't get better. Like, is this resentment only gonna grow? Because if she can't move past it and she's taking it out on OP, that's only gonna get worse and worse.
No.
It's like she's not your friend. She's not being your friend, and is that gonna get more and more painful?
OP said what was needed to be said. It might
Absolutely.
just happen at the
hurts.
wrong time.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things where, like, you know, if I was in her shoes, I probably just wouldn't have said anything. I would have just been like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I probably
like,
would have
I get
said it.
There's no reason to, like, there's
but like
no
these
reason
people
to,
do
like,
need to hear these things sometimes, right? You hope that it happens in a more like calm way.
But I think she read her friend wrong. Like them's fighting words.
It's also
apparently.
probably drinking involved if it's a wedding.
Of course.
Yeah, and then she immediately got in a car and drove away.
Yeah, it's not sounding
We have
great
to be
no matter
aware
what.
of our location next time. I'm saying that to myself for future advice.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like you're not what you're saying is correct and you're not wrong for saying it, but it's like if you have the ability to plan it out,
Yeah.
you know, if you can be Batman with prep time, do that, but you don't always get prep time.
Yeah.
It's also that thing where it's like, y'all, you're at a wedding. Like, hash it out after.
But that's
like,
what happens at
It
weddings.
seems like it was a little. It is kind of like what happened.
Weddings are so
I get it.
high emotion.
But it's also the thing that it's happened, and it's like I bet OP is like, do I wish it happened differently? Sure, but
Yeah.
like,
yeah, of course.
I just don't even have conversations at weddings. I'm just dancing Uptown Funk.
What?
dancing.
No.
put Primal Devotion on.
Yeah.
Grandma, Primal Devotion's on.
Lick my butt and suck on my nuts.
Jesus.
Sorry.
All right.
I should start writing AI BDSM
no,
Then it's
songs.
not AI. Then you wrote it.
That's true. This is an Ian original.
What you just saying is better than
Who
AI.
needs AI when you got this brain?
Update.
Yeah.
Update. So this update comes 9 days later.
Okay.
Okay.
I wanted to address some common questions / comments first. 4 hours versus across the country. I'm in the US and flew from the West Coast to the East Coast. We wanted extra time together since we don't see each other often, so I flew into my hometown about 4 hours from the wedding instead of somewhere closer. This sounds like teenage drama. Totally fair. I think that's part of why I snapped. It felt like, are we really doing this at 30? It's also a sign I should have addressed this sooner. Rental car issue. I was told I couldn't use a debit card unless I had a license from that state. Otherwise, it had to be a credit card. No credit card. I had debt in my early 20s, which is long paid off, but I've avoided credit cards since. This
Okay.
situation made me realize I should have one for emergencies.
Yeah.
Why not bus / train? I looked into it. Neither would have gotten me back in time for my return flight. A train home would have
This is the US. We don't have trains.
Yeah, public transport.
Train.
International commenters are like, why don't you just use public transportation?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that? And we're like, no, we don't.
No, we
They're
don't.
like,
We
they're like-
did. We did have
We
it,
did.
but we
did.
destroyed it.
They're like, oh, from the West Coast to the East Coast train, that should only take like, what, 5 hours, something like that?
Yeah.
No.
The U.S. is very large, people.
It's very large.
I don't think a lot of people realize how big it is.
A train home would have taken almost 3 days.
Yeah.
And cost about the same.
Yep.
My options were flying out of the closest airport or trying to get back to my original airport 4 hours away. Either way, I needed a same-day flight. Venmo request. I sent it out of anger. I told her later I don't expect her to pay me back.
Yeah.
Now for the update.
Oof.
Right.
We had the call and it wasn't productive.
Oh, what a surprise.
Knew it.
I apologize for what I said and that it was below the belt, especially the in love with Ryan comment.
Yep.
I acknowledged it was hurtful and told her I wouldn't say things like that again. I apologized for the text and Venmo request, explained they came from anger, and made it clear I don't expect her to pay me back. I explained that her comments have been a long-standing pattern I never addressed but should have. When I brought up being left stranded, she didn't acknowledge it at all and became defensive. She started crying and asked if we could just go back to how things were. I told her I didn't think that was possible.
Nope.
After the call, I realized this isn't something we can come back from. I'm willing to work through a lot, especially when I have a role in things, but the lack of remorse or even acknowledgement for leaving me stranded made that clear.
Yep.
As many said, this hasn't been a real friendship for a while. It wasn't always like this, but over time, the dynamic shifted in ways I kept overlooking or brushing off instead of addressing. I think I held on to it because of the history. During the month we didn't talk, I actually felt at peace, which says a lot. I realized that not dealing with her behavior earlier probably contributed to it becoming a more explosive conflict than it would have been if I had addressed it sooner. I appreciate the honest feedback. I'm still sad about letting go of a friendship I cared about, but I know I'll be okay.
I think, yeah,
good ending.
because this kind of backs up my theory that they were like childhood friends, school friends, and then went off to college, whatever. And I think and I'm just saying this from my own experience of being friends with Anthony, I think sometimes when you develop these friendships in middle school and high school, your communication styles and the way that your friends don't always evolve as you become adults.
Yeah.
And that's how it was with Anthony and I. Our communication never improved from high school teenage boys until that whole thing kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
And then we were later on able to come back together as an adult sort of friendship.
Yeah.
So it kind of, the way that they talk to each other in this argument feels so high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
where it was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think friendships also they do a double helix sometimes. It's you come back, you come together, and then you have to go off. And sometimes you go off and you learn things that don't vibe. And also, I do think there is this pressure of the friendship. You've been there since the beginning. And this friendship, it's well, I have to hold on, but it's it's both parties they're not right for each other right now.
Yeah.
Maybe later, but you gotta kind of.
Well, it's also the painful
go.
thing.
Yep.
That's really fascinating. I agree with that about the communication styles. So I
Yeah.
feel like people talk about that a lot with siblings of when they go back and they spend time with their family, it's our old dynamics come out.
Yes.
Right? It's who do I become? I
Our
become who I
roles.
was when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I also think it's painful in your 20s. And then when you hit 30, it really becomes apparent of friends that you're growing up together, and some people just refuse to grow. Some people hit some things that they're not letting go of, and it's you realize how much it stunts
Yes,
you.
yes.
And she's not letting go of this thing.
Yeah.
And it's keeping her in this place.
And it's keeping her friend in that place
It's-
with her.
Yeah.
And it's also just so maddening when somebody just can't, all you have to do is apologize. Just acknowledge what you did was f***ed up. You left someone stranded
But-
in a town that they don't know, that they don't live in, and all you have to do is say, "You're right,
But I think
f***ed up."
I think acknowledging any aspect of that is also acknowledging the reality of what's going on inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she cannot face that reality.
She's not. It's not even near her. She doesn't actually see it for what it
Yeah,
is because she doesn't understand it yet.
I know.
I think it's just
it's really sad.
yeah.
It's really sad.
Well, it's sad because she's missing out on a friend who's willing to grow. And
Yeah.
so the friend's willing to grow and the other friend is going to stay where she is right now.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's good that the other friend is okay, I have to keep moving on.
I feel there's an aspect that I feel so sorry for Becky in that people like that who they hold on to this thing and it's man, you're never gonna find. You're making it impossible for you to find your person out there because
Yeah.
you're holding on to this thing
Yeah.
and it's gonna completely
Yeah.
cloud you.
Also,
and
Becky is just the perfect name for this person.
Oh yeah, it makes them so loathsome.
Oh, they picked that. They picked that pretty well.
Becky.
Yeah. Becky.
Yeah. If a character's named Becky in
You
this,
know there's
I'm
gonna be
always
some
like,
shit.
oh,
You're like,
God.
wow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think, if there's one lesson to take from this is just like, be more vulnerable with your friends.
It will free you. It will free you.
If you up, just say, hey, I up. And then like, it will be amazing what that opens up for you.
And you might see things earlier and be able to move on earlier.
Totally.
If that's what's going to happen.
And you're
for you.
allowed to have irrational feelings and stuff like that. That you can't help that. She can't help that she has these feelings for Ryan. Yeah. But if she's not going to acknowledge it, it's going to turn into irrational behavior.
Right. It doesn't make her a bad person.
No. All right. It's time for our final story. And this one's going to be an epic.
An epic?
Nice.
An epic. This next story comes from Today I F***ed Up. This was posted in September of 2019. Today I f***ed up by trusting some rando on Airbnb.
Ooh.
They write, Shit River 2K19. We have 1,000 words to explain all that transpired with our dear friend Paul from August 3rd to August 4th, 2019. Let me spin you a tale of Shit River.
Okay.
This guy's cooking with this
Yeah,
one.
he's having a blast.
4:30 p.m. Our initial impressions of the house were terrific. Our illustrious host, Paul, left a bottle of red for us on the table along with some chocolates and popcorn. Paul was friendly. Check-in was quick and easy, so our party settled in. Everything was looking great. Okay, so they're into the Airbnb. It's good.
Illustrious.
6 p.m. We return from purchasing perishables for the weekend. We fill the fridge as we prepare for a relaxing and restorative vacation. We had all traveled far and been looking forward to this rare reunion. A few days on the beach does wonderful things for the soul, but little did we know how our souls would be blackened forevermore.
Oh my goodness.
8:15 p.m. After a round or 5 of drinks, we noticed that several members of the party had disappeared and were nowhere to be found. We discovered them, ominous plunger in hand, staring terrified at a slowly rising toilet, one of 2 in the house. Plunging half successfully, we messaged Paul and let him know the situation. Only one working toilet isn't ideal for a group of 8 20-somethings drunk on beer and full of tacos, but we'd make it work. 8:38 p.m. The wolves arrived. No, I'm just kidding.
What? I was so in. That's crazy.
8:38 p.m. The remaining toilet won't flush.
No.
The party grows worried. Paul assures us that he will call a plumber. 9 p.m. Paul has no luck with his usual...
What are these people eating?
Tacos and beer.
Both
Tacos,
toilets?
they're
Salsa and beer. 9 p.m. Paul has no luck with his usual plumber. They won't be able to fix the toilets until the next morning. A 5-second Google search reveals there are 12 emergency 24-hour plumbers in Virginia Beach, but Paul did not want to call them. After informing our dear friend Paul of our displeasure, he put his nose to the grindstone and made a few calls. A plumber was found. Magic. 9:30 p.m. Raw sewage floods the shower and both toilets. Kitchen sink makes a strange noise when turned on. The house likely possessed. Drinks have been drunk like it's the end of Prohibition, and we cannot drive or Uber to safety. After all, where would we go?
McDonald's.
We pray to whatever eldritch creature haunts our plumbing to spare us. 10:01 p.m.
I love it.
The stench. Dear God, the stench. 11:20 p.m. Emergency plumber arrives with Paul and Paul's friend in tow. One of them goes to the roof. One of them pounds a Pabst Blue Ribbon. Advanced guard sobered up and makes an emergency run to a public bathroom. We split the party. 12:20 a.m.
Oh my
Plumber
God.
ventures inside the splash zone to duct tape garbage bags around the toilets to seal them in preparation for the final blasting. Paul's friend fails to discover
Stick
how
of
to...
dynamite.
Yeah. Paul's friend fails to discover how to switch off his nose and taps out. I'm out, man. I'm out. It's been hours since most of us have relieved ourselves. The backyard beckons us with its soothing siren call, but we resist for now. 12:22 a.m. Paul assures us the problem will soon be fixed and to keep partying. Classic Paul. We oblige, blithely unaware of the horror shit show still awaiting us.
The wolves enter.
12:24 a.m. The wolves have finally entered.
Yeah.
12:24 a.m. The final blasting, the stench, the horror, the splatter. We all take 2d6 damage. Of course, this guy plays D&D.
I was gonna say.
You knew
of
this guy played
course.
D&D.
Of course.
1 a.m. Paul and Co. tell us the bathrooms are fixed, but not to flush toilet paper. He requests we instead put used toilet paper in conveniently provided bagless trash cans.
No bag. No bag.
da.
That's gonna leave a smear.
We decide to maximize our fun and minimize our bathroom usage. We also decide to leave the next morning. 2 a.m., the witching hour. Isn't 3 a.m. the
3
witching hour?
a.m. 's
Yeah,
witching
3
hour.
a.m.
Yeah.
Oh,
This freaking frat boy, man.
come on.
I
This
thought you were into
this
D&D, but
well-read
you did.
frat boy.
Yeah, I thought
that
you were doing a
plays
cool
D&D.
campaign.
This is Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah.
a big party town?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lights flicker ominously. The house isn't finished with us yet. 4:30 a.m.
Oh my God.
Paul offers a full refund. Excellent. He later tries to convince us to stay and only refund the first night. Not excellent.
Oh, this place is haunted.
Yeah, it is.
We ask for a full refund and promise to evacuate in the morning. He offers to let us stay for free for the remainder of our reservation. Excellent. But we decline and agree to leave by noon. Clairvoyant. 10:30 a.m. The party prepares to leave after a night of sheer terror. We take trash to trash cans, clean the kitchen, and prepare a sacrifice to the toilet gods. 11:10 a.m. We commence the cleansing ritual in the kitchen. After completion, we agree never to speak of this again. Who would believe our odorous experience? 11:11 a.m. Make a wish. The great gurgle. We hear deep from the bowels of hell a cursed glugging. Was it the broken spirit of Paul's friend chugging another PBR? Nope. The shower had once again started flooding with raw sewage.
Yep. Hell yeah.
11:15 a.m. We hasten our efforts to flee. Paul is called. We finish packing all but the final suitcases into our cars. 11:30 a.m. We convene to discuss departure. Suddenly, one of our party realizes we've been cut off from the last of our supplies by a seeping shit river pooling in the hallway.
Oh.
Fearing the end is nigh, a brave hero bounds forth, vaulting across the rising floodwaters of the Rubicon. We form a fire line to ferry our belongings and our wounded to safety.
Stop.
11:32 a.m. Water oozes from the baseboards. Satan's septic tank thirsts for blood. The lights flicker once more. 11:35 a.m. Our dearest friend Paul arrives, eloquently prophesizing, "This house is Agreeing with Paul's uncanny observation, we flee the house. The smell stayed with us for days, but the memories will haunt us forever." So it was coming out of the baseboards, it was coming out of everywhere.
That was an excellent read of that.
Thank you.
I was
really
so invested.
Yes.
That's great.
That's
It felt
really
like I
good.
was reading the like journals of what is it what was the like the pilgrims who like all disappeared or whatever.
Jamestown?
Was it Jamestown? Yeah.
Yeah.
Roanoke. Yeah, I
Roanoke,
feel like
yeah.
I'm reading a diary from Roanoke
It's
where they're
really
like, "Oh
good.
man, someone forgot to flush and it's getting real
It's
bad."
really
Yeah.
good.
Wow. So yeah, it was coming out of the baseboards. It was coming out of everywhere. This house was quite literally about to explode
With
Yeah.
shit.
with shit. So something deep.
And it wasn't all their shit. Or was
I mean,
it?
it must have been like well, I don't know
It
if
was
they had a
probably a
septic
buildup.
tank or if it was like a blockage further down
Something-
like the main line.
Something deep in hell is rupturing.
Yeah. He should have known there'd be 8
Shitting boys.
shitting boys ready to drink and
Out
shit.
of the shower?
Oh.
Yeah, because once it's
so
it's just gonna come out of every
I love the
hole.
way this guy wrote. 11:11, make a wish.
Oh, I added Make a Wish.
Oh. Hey.
Hey, that was really
Nice.
good.
That was
You're
really
really
good.
talented.
Thank you.
Wow, he's good.
Oh my God.
You should do this
You
more
should,
often.
like-
You never know when I'm just adding my own little spice to it.
Oh my God, 11:11, make a wish.
Yeah.
So where were the wolves when
Well, they were probably going to show up.
lapping up
They
the shit?
showed up and then they're like,
Oh.
oh, and they like ran away.
Let's go,
Yeah.
guys.
Comments. Honestly, I truly feel for how completely and totally Paul is at owning this shit house.
Yeah.
Someone said, if I were Paul, I think I'd just burn the house down and start over. That smell would be too haunting. Lastly, someone said, I love the first season of American Horror Story, Turner House.
No. No, they wouldn't name
Funny.
it Turder House. Come on.
No.
Turder House.
I've been very lucky with plumbing issues. I've never experienced like an overflowing toilet.
Oh, you are lucky.
You've experienced an
My
overflowing toilet.
house.
Definitely.
I had a root in the main line, and it came up into my shower.
The root?
No, the shit.
The tree was like, get
No.
here, yeah.
The things. The things that I thought I flushed down the toilet came up into my shower.
What were you flushing down the toilet?
Poopy,
Jewels?
poopy.
Gems?
Gems, my rubies.
Anthony gave me
I was
these.
hiding.
We're done.
Anthony got these in Prague, and he brought them back for me. No, I'm very grateful. I live in terror of like a plumbing issue
I've
like
definitely
that.
had a plumbing issue like back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at like a Airbnb or like a old inn or some shit.
I think my tolerance is pretty good for stuff. Like I can handle it. I've definitely been places where it's like, oh, there was no hot water, so it's like freezing ass cold showers.
Yeah.
But I kind of take that as like, well, it's gonna wake me up.
Yeah.
I've definitely had
Tough
that.
it out. But I've never had like an overflowing toilet or like anything really bad.
I feel like I must have when I was younger or something. Oh, I did have something. I was in the Jersey Shore. No, we were in Lake George, like around New York with my cousins, and there was a massive hot tub. And I don't remember what happened, but my aunt remembers it as if my cousin did it, but I don't know if my cousin did it.
no.
Essentially,
left
we
a
like
little-
ran back afraid, but there was like
There was a floater.
no, there was like plops of shit all around the hot tub and in the hot tub. Now we don't know what happened.
Oh
I
my
kind of
God.
don't remember it, but I feel like maybe my cousin or my other cousin like had like a poop attack. Either way, my aunt still talks about it. Oh yeah, the hot tub poop attack.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
think someone had to shit themselves
Look,
and they did it in the hot tub and then around the hot tub.
Every time you get into a public jacuzzi, you're rolling the dice.
We've all
'Cause-
been in a wave pool where there's a poop. Haven't we?
I've been in a wave pool. I don't recall one where there was
a
a
wave
poop.
pool with a poop is I don't care. That's fine.
What?
It's fine.
What do you mean? Waves.
Well, okay, that's not good.
Waves.
But I mean there's enough like dispersion, you know, and it's not hot.
A massive
Because-
turd?
What are you talking about? The wave pool I was at was in Arizona.
Okay, so
It was hot.
Oh,
It'd be
okay.
like 100 degrees. You're in the
All
wave
right,
pool.
yeah. But a jacuzzi, that's where you get folliculitis. You know, because somebody got in
I
there,
don't
they
know
had a
about
little
all about
diarrhea.
that.
Yeah.
All I
happened to
know is my
friend.
aunt remembers it as like one of a really tough day.
Yeah. really tough.
Because she had to go in and clean it up.
Oh.
She's like, it
My
was,
divorce and the shit hot tub.
And,
she's like,
how do
it was
you-
one of you girls. One of you girls did it. And I was like, I didn't do it.
And like, how do you like? Do you use the net to like
Okay.
I wasn't
pick
there.
it up?
I wasn't there. I was
Alright.
hidden away back in the
Not dealing
cabin.
with that. Anyways, wow, we
shithole.
traveled everywhere today.
We have.
We have,
Really.
but not the Titanic.
You okay?
He
Throws up.
He took that.
Oh, he took the hats.
I would laugh
Damn it.
so hard if he just threw up.
No, I
Um,
was just debating on if I should just continue singing. the song.
No.
No,
right.
no. Let me just say that I will say most of these Reddit stories, I normally am like, oh yeah, this is clear. But on most of these, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if they're the asshole. I don't know. Like it felt very, you know, murky
Fair.
waters, if you will.
Okay.
Murky toilet bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
1111, make a wish.
I just feel bad for Paul. Paul is
Do
left
you?
with
Poor.
the, I
You
just
feel-
it's like this house is
Paul,
Oh,
Paul was like the
shit.
friendship. He just avoided and avoided and avoided.
I just love that like after all this, he's like, you guys can stay for free, just like hang out
Excellent.
here.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a little concerning.
I
He's like,
feel
no,
like
no, please stay. Please
That's
stay.
actually the scariest thing ever. It's like,
Yeah.
please stay here for free. I'd be like, this place, I'm gonna die here.
Yeah, that's what made me start to think it was haunted.
Yeah.
And he's like passing off some kind of curse.
Yeah,
Okay,
so true.
we must go. And by the way, before we go, I do want to shout out at live.smosh.com. We are offering a special package of some of our Reddit live shows. Some of the ones we did last year, some of the ones we're doing this year. So you can go and check them out there to watch some stories that we've never read here on the show with a live audience of thousands of people. It's such an exciting time. Highly recommend it if you can. And now, it's time to go.
Oh.
Amanda, Ian,
No.
thank you.
Thank you.
This has been great.
Okay.
We traveled everywhere.
It was so fun.
It was a blast.
I didn't even need my passport.
All right, bye everybody. See you next Saturday.
Bye.
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 Yo ho ho!
Bye. Whoa.
Our hats. We got our hats back for all the podcast listeners. They look great.
Yeah.
They
You're
look
listening.
awesome.
Now I have a hat.
Bye, guys. It was so great to see you guys. It was awesome.